Hi, this is BlindFox. Welcome to my ration review. Today we are going to be reviewing the SERAC Game Rangers pack. Pack 1. It was packed this year. It expires next year. This ration weighs about 1.35 kilograms and is a tinned ration. You can see that it's supposed to have a double seal, but it doesn't. It just has the normal strip seal up here. Open it, you can see it's nicely packed. First, we have got our knife, spoon, fork, salt and pepper, and our cereals. Then we've got 2 packets of sugar, cheese, jam, mixed fruit jam, 1, 2, 3 packets of coffee creamer, a power bar that is 45 grams, two tea bags, a sachet of coffee, 4 coffee creamer, there's 3 sugar, tin of matches, box of matches, and then 5 creamers, pack of peanuts and raisins, um, 35 grams of fruit rolls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fuel tablets, pack of strawberry instant maize porridge, some biscuits, looks like 6 coffee creamers, a orange 25 gram isotopic drink, and a peach 25 gram isotopic drink, second sachet of coffee, we have a tin of some mixed vegetables. Not sure if it's a 127 grams or a 215 grams. Can't find we've got a tin of bully beef. Here it is. It's got a key on top. We've got a 155 gram tin of pilchards or sardines. Pilchards. we have, it's an opener. Two, four, six, 7, and 8 super seeds. This meal is broken up into 3 meals. Breakfast, they use this for lunch, and this one for dinner. So I'll break it up into 3 meals and see how I split the tins up. So let's taste everything. Welcome to breakfast. I'm not going to use the matches and the fuel tablets today. We are going to have some coffee. Here's some creamer. Here is some fruit rolls. There's about 32 grams each little roll here. It expires in 2020. It has got its ingredients and stuff written on the back. We have some vanilla maize instant porridge. It's got its usage instructions and its ingredients on the back. Couldn't find any expiration date. We have got some peach isotonic drink. It's also got its ingredients and using instructions at the back. We have mixed fruit jam, 50-gram pack of biscuits, and some cheese. Then we also have some sweets. That's breakfast. To prepare this, they say to add hot or cold water or milk. I'm going to try it today with cold water. I tried it with warm water in another ration and it worked beautifully. It was almost immediately ready to eat. It didn't even take a long while. I'm also going to try and mix these two in their pouches. I'm not sure if you are supposed to do that, but they do say add water. There's no fill line I could see or anything in some of the other pouches, but I'm going to try and do this to see if it's possible. So let's get started. Okay, here we have the porridge. I just made a little spill catching device here, since I normally spill when I work with water and stuff. So let's see if we can mix it inside the pouch. So first, I cannot see any fill lines, so you most likely aren't supposed to do this, but let's try this. So a cup of water doesn't really sort of overfills this little sachet. Obviously this wasn't a good success, so I'm just going to transfer the water and the maize. So obviously no, you're not supposed to do it this way. I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back. So the answer to my first question, can you mix it in the sachet? The answer is no, because there's just too much water. The sachet is too small. But my answer to the second question I asked myself was, will this work with cold water? And my answer there, definitely, you can see, is yes, since it's already reconstituting almost. You can almost eat this. It's already very very fine, or it's very, very constituted. Clearly this stuff can be mixed in cold water, since it's already being quite stiff, so I'll just park it here. Okay, the next thing we are going to try is the isotonic drink. It's a nice orange powder, well, not that light orange actually, it's quite vivid. Definitely have a peachy smell. See if I can pour without spilling. So this one is not very successful either, so you can't mix this one in the pouch as well, since it just wants to spill over. So I'll just mix this and then be back with the rest of breakfast. Okay, let's just quickly check out how our porridge is doing. You can see it's reconstituted quite nicely. It's a bit lumpy, but I think it's a bit more to do with me having mixed it in the bag first. But it's totally soft. Even the little lumpy bits are. There's no taste of unreconstituted maize. So totally you can mix this with cold water and it will work. You don't have to wait hours for it to reconstitute. I had sorghum porridge the other day. I had used the hot water. It just didn't want to mix up. I had to reheat the water, or actually boil the water a bit with the sorghum in it. But this, definitely it works with cold water. Okay, here's the coffee. I've tried these coffees before. They are extremely weak. So I'm going to try a full cup, or a relatively full cup. So I'm going to try a full cup of hot water with 2 sachets of coffee. This thing does have a coffee smell. Not really, slight improvement maybe. It's got a slight coffee taste. Maybe I used too much water again. I've got another ration where I've got coffee, so I'll try a half a cup with 2 coffees the next time. Let's look at our biscuits. I already made the little hole in the cheese. The sweets can lie there for the meantime. We've got 50 grams of biscuits. This is the same as all the other South African rations I've tried. Of all the SERAC South African rations I've tried. These are very nice biscuits. It is the same, and they don't really get squashed very easily. These crumbled a bit, but they are still, you can see there's a few crumbs inside there. They're more like oats, almost oatsy grainy cookies than they are crackers. They are really nice. This is normal jam. You can see it's not very soft. It's sort of gelatinous, but that is how it is supposed to be. I've had this jam before and it's always like this. This, I took ate some of the crumbs just now. The biscuits are very sweet, very crumbly if you bite them. They're not hard, they won't break your teeth. As I said, it's more a cookie than a biscuit. Let's try it with the jam. The jam is very fruity with the sweetness of the biscuit. It's very nice. You still taste the biscuit, the unique taste of the biscuit somewhat. You do get the sweetness of the jam. It's actually very, very sweet when combining the two. Let's do the cheese. You can see the cheese is nice and runny, or not really runny, nice, and it's not too hard, it's not too soft. It's a good consistency. It's not grainy at all. The cheese really tones down the sweetness of the biscuits. It's not as overwhelmingly sweet as it was when we had the jam on it. Let's try some cheese and jam. This is normal cheddar processed cheese. The cheese and jam. The cheese toned down the sweetness of the jam. It tones down the sweetness of the whole jam and biscuit combination. It's not as terribly sweet. You can taste the saltiness of the cheese. It's a very nice combination, these biscuits with the cheese and jam. I've never tried this before, but let's do the coffee and try a little biscuit in it. It did improve it somewhat, having 2 coffee sachets in here. It doesn't have that very bitterness of what coffee sometimes do. It's a very light coffee. Dipping the biscuit in coffee gives it just a little bit of a coffee taste. It's very nice. It softens the outer part a bit. I didn't want to keep my biscuit in there too long. I think if you keep your biscuit in there too long, it will break off. Let's taste this. Very sweet. You can taste the peach. There's a definite Kool-Aid or Drink a Pop taste in it. It doesn't have that overwhelming Drink a Pop Kool-Aid taste that, say, the orange had, but I tasted in another ration, but you can still taste it a bit. It's very sweet. I think it's the sweetest one I've yet tasted. It's between that and the nachi. This is very sweet, almost like rehydration sachets. Let's taste the porridge quickly. You can see it's not a nice consistency. There's still lumps in there, but I think it's more to do with my mixing method. It's definitely constituted. You can taste the vanilla-iness. Let's try it with sugar. I have not yet used sugar in porridge before. Since I'm not going to use any sugar in the coffee, let's taste the porridge with the sugar. Definitely sweeter. Let's do some of the creamer. Let's taste it. The creamer doesn't really make a difference. The oats, the maize is still very creamy without it, so it doesn't really. The creamer, it doesn't really matter if you put creamer in or not. I think the maize is good enough without it. Let's see these fruit rolls. You can see it's little. Let's take one out. They look to be both the same. You can see it's covered with sugar. Let's break it open. It's some minced fruit, covered with sugar. Tastes like peach, or peach apricot, or apricot. I'm not sure which one. You can see it on the little packet. I think it's a mixed fruit thing. Definitely sweet, but the fruit is a bit tart, so it balances itself out. Funny aftertaste though. Just a quick note. Some of these fruit rolls has got a funny smell. It almost smells as if it's not right to eat, but the dried fruit itself has got that smell. So it transfers to the fruit rolls. They are perfectly fine to eat, they just smell funny. Let's check these out. This is just a normal Super C. It's a hard candy. It's really hard to break. You can suck on it for a while. It's good to keep your mouth moist throughout the day. I'm not going to try it now since I know how it tastes. But that's breakfast. See you for lunch. Welcome at lunch. I'm not going to use the fuel tablets. Most of the South African rations are commercially available, or the components in the SERAC rations. A lot of these are. The cheese and the jam and the Super C's that we had at breakfast is available commercially. The Simba nuts and raisins, they're available commercially. We're going to have this. We're going to have some pilchards, which is also available commercially. And it's got a ring pull, so I don't have to use the tin opener. We're going to have some corned beef, also available commercially, and it's also got its own opening device. We're going to have some orange isotonic drink. We're going to have 2 Super C sweets. We're going to have one of these tea bags. There is a creamer and a sugar for the tea, but I do not like my tea with creamer and sugar, so I'll just put them aside. It is the same sachet we had, or cutlery set we had at breakfast. This is a commercially available. It's in a lot of commercial fast food stuff. You get these. It's got a nice serviette. It's not too thin, it's not a very thick one, but it normally does the job. There is some salt and pepper here, which I'm not going to use. You can see the cutlery is nice and sturdy. Okay, let's get started with lunch then. We're going to start with opening the tins. Its opening slot is there. Just one. You can see it's a meat product. There's some fat in there. Doesn't look like I'm gonna get it out of this. It smells meaty. It's cut off a bit here. You can look at the meat. It's all compressed. You can taste the fattiness, taste the meatiness. It's grind, looks like ground meat, or finely ground meat. It's just a little meatloaf. I followed their suggestions, but for the meals, they didn't suggest the biscuits for lunch, and I don't think that will work well with the corned meat. What they actually miss, I think, is a cracker, either a Pro Vita or a salty crack or some other salt cracker to go with all of these meats. I'm going to remove another piece that I'm going to heat up. This meat really doesn't want to fall out of the can. People just sometimes eat it with a spoon right out of the can. Let's check out the pilchards. Definitely I heard the hiss there. I can smell tomato. I can see tomato. Some pilchards in tomato sauce. I'm going to drain some of them. Taste it a bit. You can taste the tomatoiness. Very tomatoey. I extracted the little piece of fish here. There is some fish bones in the center of it. It tastes a bit. It tastes nice and fishy. It's a bit dry, but not too dry. Yeah, I'm going to quickly heat this up. Okay, I've heated it up now. Let's just get the other stuff ready. This is normal black tea. I don't know what make it is, they don't say. I'm going to use one of the two sachets in here. They at least provide a little sealable bag for your tea so it doesn't get wet. Next we are going to do a 25 gram orange isotonic drink. This is good for a cup of water. You get them in 50 gram sachets as well, or this product. I'm going to use my bottle to mix it in, since it just it mixes easier. Immediately you get the orange smell from the powder. You can see it's orangey color. Okay, let's get to taste this. We'll open this later. Okay, let's look at this. This is much softer than it was. This too. You can just squash it with the fork. And look, it's nice and it's quite soft now that it's warm. The fattiness has melted into the meat more. It tastes much more. It separates easier, so you can literally taste the individual meat grinds. Very soft, very nice. It's still fatty, but it doesn't seem as fatty as the cold product. The cold meat product isn't, you cannot easily separate or taste the different little meat grindings. They are both good. The taste differ a bit between the two since the fat is melted into the meat. As I said, a cracker would really be good with this. Let's check out the fish. The fish is also sort of crumbly. When you warm the fish up, the tomato sauce has a chance to permeate it a bit. So the fish also gets a bit softer. The tomatoiness, the cold fish tastes a bit more tomatoey. The warmer fish, tomatoey, mellows a bit into the fish taste. You can eat this cold as well. It doesn't taste bad or worse or cold than it does hot. As I said, some crackers would also help with the fish. So I would definitely think they should add some crackers to this meal. Just a quick note about the fish bones that are in there. There are some fish bones, but they are so soft you can just eat them. You don't have to take them out. Okay, quick note on heating these. I have seen this one heated on a fire before. You just remove the label, and it didn't burn because the tomato sauce was there with the fish. This one, the bully beef on the other hand, I would take it out of the can to heat it. I would not heat this in the can because it's such a solid thing you can't stir it. So I would heat this outside in another container, although this one can be heated in the can. Let's taste the orange. Definite smell orange. Taste very Kool-Aid, Drinko Pop like. A bit sweet. Not as sweet as the peach this morning. It still has a light taste of rehydration fluid. Definite orange smell. It does tone down for some of the fat a bit. Let's check out the tea. Just normal black tea, or as most South Africans call it, English tea. Nice tea flavor, not very bitter. I must say I don't normally drink tea. Let's check out the nuts and raisins, or the peanuts and raisins. You can see this is normal little peanuts. It's salted, you can feel the salt and see it. Little raisins. The sweetness of the raisins complement the saltiness of the peanuts. I must say I like peanuts and raisins more than I like normal just peanuts. Let's check out the Super C, the same as this morning. Smells like strawberry. Nice candy for the rest of the day. So between the nuts and raisins and some of the candy, you are sorted until supper. Okay, that was lunch. Thanks for joining me for lunch. See you at dinner. Okay, welcome to dinner. I'm not going to use the field tablets. Put them aside. I'm also not going to use the creamer and the sugar they provide. But if you want to use it with your tea, you can. Okay, what we're going to have is our remaining bag of tea. The mixed vegetables in brine. The power bar. I've had one before. This is very nice. The free sweets, and we're going to use our spoon from our sachet here. And we're going to have to use this thing. I used one before and it wasn't very... The first can, I could get the first can open. The second can I struggled with. So I hope between me and this thing we can get this can open. If it doesn't work, I'll just use a normal can opener. This is, I think, 215 grams. The 2 grams here, it confuses me a bit, but let's try this. Chow is also a commercially available brand. You get them them in the shops. You actually also get these cans in the shops. The rest, I don't know. I've never seen this specific bar, but it can just be that our shops here where I live, it's a very small town. I think they just don't have it. But I have seen the All-Star brand before. And Super C's you get everywhere. The tea, I'm also not sure what make it is. So let's open this. Okay, it seems this time I had better luck with the tin opener. Okay, there's the veggies. You can see there's quite a bit of brine in here. Let's just see if I can get some out without. There's some peas, there's some corn, I think there's potatoes. They basically all taste like the beans or the peas that's in here. You don't really taste the carrots. You also don't taste, I think, the potatoes. I'll take this and warm it a bit up and throw out the brine. Okay, I'm back. Before we taste, let's quickly mix the tea. Okay, my cups that I'm using at the moment are blood donation cups. You get them for donating a certain amount of blood or a certain amount of times. So let's taste the hot vegetables. I think I see corn in there, I see potatoes in there, I see peas, I see carrots. I do not know if I see beans, but heating them up made them a bit softer. It took away some of the extremely pea taste, but the peas basically overwhelms this whole thing. You more or less just taste the peas. The other stuff, you can texturally they are there, but they are not really present. Okay, this is normal black tea. I can let it steep a bit. Next, we've got the power bar. It's about 45 grams of it. It's breakable. You can see it's sort of crumbly inside. It smells very chocolatey, almost a bit like a wafery or a biscuit type thing. Yeah, there's like biscuity taste as well. It's not overwhelmingly sweet. It's very middle of the road in chocolate bars. It tastes a tiny bit like a protein bar type of thing, but not overwhelmingly so as some of the other bars I've eaten. The center is nice and crumbly. It's a bit chewy. In the other one I've had before, there was a little bit of biscuits. I just don't see it in this one now. There is sometimes when you bite in a slight bit of crunchiness. So this is just the normal Super C. It's again a pinkish flavor. I'm not sure if this is watermelon or strawberry. It's the same as the one we had all the other meals. It's hard. You can't really break it. I think this is strawberry. You can see it's clumbery hard all through. It smells like tea. Again, it has a light tea taste. There's no bitterness to it. It's not a very heavy tea. Just a middle of the road normal black English tea. So that was dinner. Thank you for watching the review of the Game Ranger Pack 1 with me. Please subscribe to my channel.
het nou niks terug laat weet of hulle